Yes, hello everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us again today at another one of our wonderful webinars. For those of you that don't know, my name is Thea Wilshire. I was a chief stewardess for 10 years, and now I am with Centtrip as one of their relationship managers. So today we're going to be showing you some of the latest features in Centtrip Global, and most importantly, how they can make your day-to-day tasks quicker and easier. For those who are new to the platform or haven't yet upgraded, Centtrip Global is our new platform, our new shiny, all the bells and whistles platform. So this offers you a smoother experience, greater functionality, and allows us to release new features much faster, and all with your feedback in mind as well. So today's session is all about some of those latest enhancements that we have and how they are going to help you save time. So during this session, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to pop them into the chat or in the Q&A section, and we'll get to them at the end. Now, for today's agenda, we are going to be looking at 3 key areas. We're going to be doing enhanced reporting, and this is going to make it easier to run the reports you need. Quicker, less time, less hassle. Improvements to payment recipients, letting you manage recipients and set up approvals. And finally, a sneak preview of our brand new administrator dashboard, which is due to be launched in the next few weeks. And I will say, Chris, I'm actually very excited about this one because you have been showing me a few sneak peeks as well, and it looks lovely. Very visually pleasing.
Good.
So without further ado, I'll hand over to you now, Chris. Take it away.
Thanks, Thea. Well, for those of you who don't know me, I am head of user experience here at Centtrip, and I have the pleasure of taking you through some of the things that we've released in the last month. Actually, busy. June was a busy time for Centtrip. We got some great new features out in time for when people start doing all their sort of regular reporting and sort of keeping an eye on things day to day on their sort of on their boat charters. And so we wanted to just step you through some of these enhancements now and show you a quick way to use them. This is the first one we're going to do is actually it's a new export feature which we call a balance report, but it also includes card expiries, and it's possible for you to basically generate an Excel file which has all the current operational balances of your accounts in all your different currencies, and also includes the operational the balances currently on the cards and the expiry dates of the card. Because what we're finding is, although our interface is, it's quite easy to use, if you need to, what we're finding people saying is, if you need to manage like 7 or 8 different accounts and you just need to like check everything at a glance, can be, a little bit cumbersome. So let's show you that then. So it's available if you go to the accounts screen. You've got this new export button up here. So if I click this export button now, what it's going to do is it's going to give me the balances of the current operating account and all the cards within the current operating account. So that's useful. Let's pop that open in Excel and have a look at that. Excel's having a little think. It should pop open over. Come on, Excel. Where are you? There you are. Okay. So this is all the different currency, so wallet balances and all the different card balances within the current operating account. That's reasonably useful, but where the real power comes in is, don't forget that within the navigation system, it's possible to actually view details of multiple operating accounts. So here I'm going to look at every single one of my operating accounts. I've got 7 here. But suddenly we've got more data appearing in this accounts grid. Again, I can just export that in exactly the same way. Pop that open. And here now I've got all the operational balances of all the different operating accounts. So you can sort of scan through those. And then at the bottom, collected together, we've got all the card balances, and not just the card balances, but this column here is called the expiry dates as well. So it's a really good way of just checking at a glance, where you're at, how your card balances are doing without having to sort of doing a lot of clicking. So that's available to use now. So that's that export button in the accounts list. Also, what we've got is a whole new type of report. We're calling it expense reports. And these are Excel files and PDFs, which are available to generate from the expenses view. And you can do it for your operating account, and you can generate these reports for one or all of your cards and currencies. And the idea is it gives you a snapshot of the current sort of activity. So you could just have a look at all the transactions in the last sort of week, or the last 24 hours, or even just the last 30 days. You could do that as an Excel or a PDF. And you've also got the ability to receipts or link to the receipts which have been supplied as part of that. So it's a good way of just kind of seeing what's come through in a very quick and easy way. So we can get to that in the expenses. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change my account to this one here, as I know I've got lots of sort of demo expenses here. And what we're going to do is we're going to generate some, I think we'll just export these as Excel files. I'll show you PDFs in a moment. So this is account transactions. I'm just going to click export on that. I want to generate reports for all, transactions in all currencies. This is just the last 30 days. That's fine. Let's just generate that. And have a look at that. And just wait for that to, that's still my balance report. Where's my other report gone? Here it is. So this is just a sort of an export of all the different transactions. I can see at a glance everything going in, going out, what all the in all the different currencies, where where payments have gone, and if there's any receipts, I've got that link there, which will open up that receipt file. So you've got that available to do as an expense, as a report, an Excel file, and then you've also got is the ability to do the same thing for card expenses. And within the card transactions, you can generate a report for all cards or specific cards. You can do, and again, you can generate those as an Excel file or a PDF file. And you can choose whether or not to include images, and that's basically your receipts. So let's just do that. We can have a quick look at that. PDF reports get generated and take a little bit longer. So what we do is we just generate those in the browser, so you can check the progress of those. You can go off and do other things while those are generating. And there we go. We can download that, preview that. So here you get the first screen is just a little overview, and that shows you, all the different, the total expenses, in this case euros, broken down into different categories, so POS, ATM, and so on. It gives you a little high-level summary of what is happening on your cards, and then you can go down and you've got all the different transactions there, the status of them, if they're declined or if they're pending, and all those there as well. And I don't know if I think the other card I've got here has got some example receipts in there. Or maybe it's in my other account anyway. But you've got those all those transactions available there. It's a good way of just getting a dump of everything that's happening across all your cards. So those are the expense reports. What you've also got is much more control over generating your monthly statements. Because previously what you had to do is you had to, in the statements grid, you select your operating account, you do an export, and you select each card in turn and do an export. And you also had a limit about you can only generate for sort of a maximum of 3 months. And what you've got now is a lot more flexibility when you're generating your statements. So we go to our statements tab here. Let's do your month-end reporting. So we want to see all our transactions for the previous month. And then I'm going to click export. And I'm going to click that thing there. And what that means is I'm going to generate statements for my operating account, all my currencies, and all my cards. I'm going to choose to include some pending transactions in there. And why not? Let's also include images, i.e. receipts, in there as well. So we've got those appearing in the statements as well. So what you can do is you can then just do an export of everything that's happened in a particular operating account over the last month. Let's download that and pop that open. And there we are. We've got our sort of summary at the top, start, money in, money out, end balance, and a long list of transactions. We've seen enough of those. there we go, a little example receipt there. And then this one's quite interesting because here we've got a pending transaction here. So it's held separately, but it does what it means. It gives you the available balance as well as the total balance if you've got some pending transactions there. And then those are there as well. And then again, you've got PDF available for every card that you've got as well. And all those get generated as well. So that's a 64-page report generated in a few seconds. So it's really useful. It should speed up month-end reporting for each operating account. You can just click a button, everything just goes out as an Excel or as a PDF. All the notes and so on are there as well. So that's that. Hope those are of benefit to people, for those of you who are doing your monthly reporting. But it doesn't end there. We are got some enhancements coming out in the next few weeks and months. One of them is just making it very easy to only report on cards where there's been activity over the last month. So if you've got some cards which are just kind of, they're active, but they're just not being used yet, they get automatically excluded. So it just saves having to wade through which is reported or not. And also we're going to be adding some extra templates for doing reporting for charters particularly. So being able to do preliminary guest reports and final guest reports for charters where there's ability to enter signatures and say how much you want to leave as gratuity and so on. So those are coming down the line shortly as well. So look forward to that. All right. Stats reporting, that's all live now. So you can go away. If you haven't had a chance to play with that yet, do go away and have a little look at those now. Let us know what you think. If there's anything there which you need, which we haven't got, then let us know and we'll get that in an enhancement for you. So next thing we're going to look at is recipients. Recipients are obviously the payees or beneficiaries. They're the people you're paying. And what we've done, first of all, is a big enhancement where we have put in an approval system for recipients, exactly the same as payment recipients. You can set up, how many approvals are needed for each recipient, and also then you can set up who does the approving. And it gives you a new thing, which is like an audit trail. So you can actually see who created the recipient, who approved the recipient. So let's go ahead and have a look at that. So we're going to be in our recipients area. Actually, before we go to the recipients area, what we need to do is we need to set up our users who are going to be doing requiring approval for their recipients, and also the people who are going to be doing the approval. So to do that, we go into the users area. Because permissions and things like that are all managed in the users area. Let's, rather than doing all accounts, let's just focus on my one training account at the moment. And what we want to do is this guy here, Martin. He's just an admin. And we want to make sure that his payments, his recipients require approval. So you can see here, the user role he has is corporate administrator. So here's just a standard admin. And so what I'm going to do is go to my roles tab, and I'm going to click where it says corporate administrator, and I'm going to edit them. And I'm going to go to the recipients tab. And what I'm going to do is, it says here, number of approvals required for recipients. I'm going to up that to 1. So that means that he will now require someone to approve any recipient he creates. So that's good. Let's do that. But then not only do we need to do that, but we need to make sure we've got someone who's available to actually do those approvals. And for this, we're going to use our corporate super administrator, our standard kind of, super administrator. And then you can here go to the approving tab and say that CSAs can approve new recipients. Good, so that is ready to go. So now what I need to do to test that is I need to log out as me, and I need to log in again as Martin and create a recipient. So let's go ahead and do that. Oops. So now I'm logged in as an admin rather than as a super admin. I'm going to go to recipients. And I'm going to create a recipient. Call it a company. The company name. Well, I've got some details on my other screen. And there we are. It's a catering company who does catering for my yacht. Let's just add an address. I've got the address saved here. And we need to obviously enter some payment information. This is going to be a UK company. And we're just going to enter those account details. If you remember, these get checked online that they are valid details and they belong to an account. So I can just have to copy, but I just can't put in any rubbish. There we are. It's got the IBAN there. It's got the address, all that sort of thing. Let's confirm that. Need to send a code, which I get on my phone. Oops. Confirm that. And the recipient is created. But if you notice, here it is, the status of that recipient is awaiting approval. Now, I can't approve my own recipient, even if I had approval privileges. I don't have the ability to approve my own recipient. I've got to have someone else do that. So in order for that to happen, I need to sign in as someone else. So I'm going to sign in as my CSA. Here we go. I'm just going to sign in. I'm going to go back to recipients and I'm going to select the correct account. And here we go. I've got my recipient here awaiting approval. But this time I have an approve button. And you can see here it's telling me who's created it. So you know who's actually doing all that. You can check the details, look like real details. And you've got that extra protection in there. So I can go ahead and approve that. Obviously, as a CSA, you get notified as well when there's recipients awaiting approval. So that's the whole approval flow now for recipients. Obviously, it's optional. You know, you don't have to do recipient approval. But for those of you who need that kind of protection about who's going to be, who's got the ability to create recipients, you've got that there. Now, the other thing which came out in June is much more flexibility about editing your recipients, copying them and deleting them. Let's see what that allows you to do. Well, editing them, this is great because let's say, oh, you know what, I've entered the address wrong. You know, actually the postcode was, was entered incorrectly and that was causing an issue. You know, you've got the ability to do those kind of updates there. Copying gives you the ability to copy recipients to any other account that you manage. So if I wanted to also make this particular recipient available to all my boats, I can do that by just doing that. I'm not going to do an extra notification now, but that's how you do that. And then obviously you have the ability to delete recipients as well if you no longer need them. You can only, and that's really useful if you've created a recipient that with, accidentally, incorrectly, and you just want to delete it to avoid any confusion, then you've got that ability now as well. So lots of more flexibility about recipient management. Hope that is useful to you. Again, that is available now. So you can have a bit of a play with that today. Okay, and the final thing we're going to look at is things coming soon. Now, for those of you who have been to one of my webinars before, I've talked about this once or twice before, And these are new dashboards, but all I've really been able to show you is kind of screenshots before. And what this is all about is replacing this dashboard with something a little bit more useful. Because the most useful thing this shows you is does show you your operational balance. You know, that's quite useful, and your card balance totals and so on. But you know, it would be quite useful to see things like payments that need approval, or you know, card balances, and that's, you know, you have to click around a bit to get those. So what we wanted to do is enhance this dashboard to show a little bit more. And what I've actually got is I had a session yesterday with the developer who's working on this, and I recorded it just so, and I'll just step you through this. It'll just be a couple of minutes, and I'll show you some of the features that are going to be available in these new dashboards. So at the top right here, you've got this area here. This is some alerts. So you can see at a glance if there's payments that are outstanding, if there's cards expiring, if there's cards that are inactive. What you've also got is the ability to go sort of next, previous in those buttons here. And that just means that if you're managing multiple operating accounts, it's very, very easy. You can kind of click next, 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 just to go through them to sort of see the details. Most important details, the balances. So how much is on total in cards, how much have you got in the wallet? You've got that ability there. And then you've also got the ability to add or remove extra currencies, you know, so you can decide exactly which currencies you want to have. Sorry, the video is a little herky-jerky. That's just Teams. It sort of was complaining a bit when I was doing this recording. It will look a lot smoother in real life. All right, let's go down and look at the next area. You've got, this is the payments area. So here, any payments that need approval automatically appear on the home page. You can, with a single click, you can see the payments, the individual payments. Okay, as you can see, that's some dummy data. You know, this one's a bit more exciting because there's 8 payments within that. You've got the, you know, who the payment's going to, the reference of each payment, and the amount for each payment. And what you can do is not just view them, you can approve them there and then as well. So you've got the sidebar with all the details about each payment. You can then go ahead, you can see all the details, you can then approve and reject them just here from the home page. So that is another useful enhancement there. And then down the bottom of the dashboard, we're going to be adding in the cards. Now, as I say, this is just a lot of dummy data. It'll obviously look a lot prettier when it's your own real cards. These are just in our development environment. But you've got there the balances of each card, the status of each card. You've got there whether you can see at a glance whether it's a virtual card or a physical card using the icon at the top left. And so you've just got a lot more sort of, you know, and any inactive cards you can approval there, and then you've got filters there on different card statuses. You've also got a little switch at the top. You can see there where it says expiring soon at the right there. So you can see at a glance if you've got any cards that are going to expire soon, you can organize renewals of those. If you click on those cards, I can't show you this yet, you get all the latest transactions at a glance. So you can see all that. Here you also, your account transactions, you've got those. All those are available at a glance as well. You can, and they're still working on this area, but you'll be able to click on any transaction in that list and see all the details of that transaction. So that's a good way of, and generate all the new reports as well. Quick transfer is still there as well, but we just made it easier to use. So you can just, you know, you select the account you want to send from, you enter your amount, you then enter where it's going to, and it'll, you know, if all the settings look good, it's highlighted in green. If there's an issue like not enough balance in an account or, you know, whatever, it'll get highlighted in red. So you can just very easy to sort of do card loading and moving funds around from here. You know, and then you've got account information and fees. Okay, that's less exciting, but that is just a little preview of what's coming. Should be available in about a month, if not sooner. So really looking forward to getting that out. And the other thing, as well as a view for admins, it's going to be mobile friendly, so you can check all your balances on the go. But what we're also going to do is a card holder only view. So what it means is that your card holders, at the moment, the only way they can like check balances and check recent transactions and upload files and so on is via the app. And what we're also going to do is basically give a view of this, which means they can just add PDFs and whatever else they need to do. You know, let's say they've done a load of e-commerce transactions. They've got all these, you know, invoices and receipts as PDFs. They want to add them, you know, very quickly to, you know, to Centtrip, and they can actually just sign on via the web app, and it's just a lot easier than having to copy them all onto your phone and upload them from there. So it gives you a lot more, gives your card holders a lot more options for managing their cards. So looking forward to that one as well. So that is my talk. I hope that was useful. A little bit more, you know, nitty-gritty into the sort of functionality there than we sometimes usually do, but I hope that's a useful guide. Yeah, any questions? Love to hear them. I'm going to introduce here. We've got Thea here to answer questions, and we've also got James as well, who's going to be on hand if you've got any from his garden. Very jealous. Who's also on hand for any more technical questions. So yes, what have we got?
So let's have a look. I can see we've got some in the chat here. So first we have, is there a limit on the amount of time I can run a report for? So now you can go back, it's increased to a year now, whereas before it was 3 months. So we've increased that to give you better access. And is there a way to export card expiries? You can do this from the balance report. And then we have, will everyone have access to the new dashboard or just super admins? So on the platform, admins will have access to the full platform, but card users will have the app view. If you do, for example, want, say, a captain or a chief stewardess to have access to the full view of the desktop, then they can be added as a role onto that platform. I believe that's correct, isn't it, James?
Absolutely, yeah. So as long as they're made an administrator, any level of administrator with any levels of permissions or limits, so they could just be read-only if they just need to view it. They can be made to be read-only. You can just give them the ability to load and unload cards. Any level of administrative role, they'll be able to access the platform from the desktop.
Perfect. And you can also do those custom roles as well. So anything you want to tweak, you have a lot of access and flexibility there, which is great. So we have one here, James, that says, please explain online payments on virtual cards.
Yeah, of course. So on the new global platform, obviously we didn't cover it today, but there's the ability to have virtual cards, something that you didn't have if you're used to using the our older platform. Online payments work exactly the same with virtual cards. You still have your full card number and all the card information available in the app. There is a slight difference, and this applies to both virtual and physical cards on the new platform, in that there is an additional password that is required. You obtain this password directly from the mobile app. What we can do is we can send you, we can put the link in the chat here so you have it. It'll show you exactly where to get that password. It's just for increased security. We are working on an alternative solution to that. Chris, I don't know how far we are.
Okay, so this is it's just a demo virtual card. But if you obviously, when you're making a payment, you're going to need the full card number. And so you can get that by just going on Manage Cards, and you click where it says Show Card in Full. You just have to reconfirm your identity or do a Face ID. It goes away and has a little thing. And what that does is that brings you up, there you go, your full card number. So you can use that on as James says, on an e-commerce purchase. Now, the other thing, sometimes that happens when you're doing an e-commerce purchase using Centtrip cards, Centtrip Global cards, is, yeah, as James says, it'll ask you for a password. And that is available, and this is an update to the app, which is coming, should be out next week, to be honest, if not tomorrow. You've got this button here that says Show e-commerce password, and that gives you the password which you need to enter when you make a purchase online. But we have just what you might also find is the system will also invite you, once you've entered your e-commerce password once, it'll invite you to set up a passkey, which basically means Face ID or fingerprint ID. So it's possible for you to then validate all your online purchases made with Centtrip cards just using Face ID from that point onwards. There we are.
Wonderful.
Okay, back to the presentation.
Let's just have a quick check here, see if we don't have any. Yes. Okay, I think that is all the questions answered there. Lovely. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. Have a lovely day. And if you are in the UK, stay hydrated, wear your SPF, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks all.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.